Hello, welcome to Local Edition. I'm Leslie Leyton. There's a lot of talk recently about unfunded pensions being a drag on our budget, and with us now is Curt Hagman. He's an Assemblyman who is proposing a No Pensions for Politicians Act. Thank you very much for being here.
Great to be here, Leslie.
Tell us about No Pensions for Politicians.
Well, under current law, that certain appointed or elected officials of California get certain kind of pensions, including the state pension system. And since that is a problem for all our public workers to figure out how we're going to fund these in the future, I figured that it's better for us electeds to make a example of how it should be. So it doesn't prohibit an elected official from getting some kind of a pension benefit, but it's not allow them to get a defined benefit package. So when they retire 20, 30 years down of public service, they can have a guaranteed payment like they can right now. So a lot of abuses, especially from going from local government to maybe a county full-time supervisor position or something, and you get your credit for years of service, being a part-time employee, making very little and paying very little into the system, but then you do 2 years at a government job that does pay full-time benefits, and then retire at that level. It could be very costly. Okay,
so you have an assembly bill that is called the No Pensions for Politicians Act. It doesn't sound like what you're saying is no pensions for politicians, though.
It can't be part of the state system at all for CalPERS, and it does prohibit those elected officials from getting a pension that's defined benefit. So if they want to put in, get money from their entity for a 1201k or private sector investment, they could do so.
Describe what you think would be a reasonable pension benefit package for politicians.
Well, I think it's all commensurate in how much time they spend for their city. A lot of local electeds like myself, it was a part-time volunteer job, and this is a great honor to represent our voters and our residents, and it should be proportional to what the effort's in. So even on the city levels, so most cities are very much part-time, 1 or 2 meetings a week, a council meeting every other week. That's very small and get very low compensated for. Like we got less than $500 a month for that. But other cities like LA City or something that are full-time jobs, it should be different. But it should be balanced out for the time they put in and not accumulated over time like the system's currently set.
What do you think the odds are of this passing?
Well, I hope very good. I hope we lay out the criteria. I hope I get bipartisan support on this. Again, we're going to ask concessions in the future. We can't maintain what we have from all our public employees for the current pension system. If we can't do it to ourselves, how do we ask our employees to do the same thing?
What effect would you expect this to have on our budget going forward?
Immediate effects would be minor, but long-term, the obligations of our general fund budget's going up from like 12% to 15% to 20% in the future, projections of just for retirees, that we have to stop that incline. So I think if we could do this on elected officials, it's not going to make a big thing, but if we could show it by example and help with our public employees later to get something more balanced, it would be a great effect.
Okay, you're starting with your own house, saying no pensions for politicians, but you take a look around throughout the state. How do you think the pensions throughout the state should be reformed?
Well, we need to do something about it. The current system is people are living longer, which is great for us, but we are working less time than we actually retired now, and we can't keep up the promises at the same level that we've had in the past. So from this point forward, like my bill proposes for all newly elected starting January 12th, or January 2012. I'm hoping to do the same thing for public employees as well and say, look, it used to be like this, but now the new hire is going to have a different system. We may not be able to have that same system for you because we just can't keep it up.
Why do you think there is such a resistance to this change for new hires when the people who are already in these positions wouldn't necessarily lose their benefits?
Well, it is. Change is always hard, and you always have to compete for the talent to come into your profession. And again, for elected officials, I don't think is as much as it is for some of our public employees or professors or things we're looking at to bring it in. So we have to look at the future and make it happen.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on this, see what happens.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Curt
Great to be
Hagman,
here.
for
Thank
being
you.
here. And thank you for tuning in. More HLN next.